Hey ladies, welcome back to Somebody Come Listen to This podcast. My name is Nava, and the only reason I keep telling you guys my name is because a lot of people still don't know how to pronounce it. They say Nava or something else crazy. So I'm going to jump right into this video. I ran across this post about the CEO of Fashion Nova yesterday, and it made me think about late stage capitalism, which is what we are in, and people are really going through it because of stuff like this. I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of videos of people talking about it, but a lot of people don't come from the same angle that I am going to come from. Anything that ends in ISM, like fascism, racism, feminism, it either is a result of men or it is because men are doing it. It's caused by men or because men are doing it. So I'm going to just jump into this video real quick, and I'm going to talk about late stage capitalism when we come back. But yes, I do believe that women can stop this if we all come together, because the biggest consumers of companies like Fashion Nova is women, and we're making these men rich, and they're not doing anything to benefit us as far as laws, as far as building affordable living for us and our children. Like, they're not doing anything to benefit women. So that's the angle I'm going to come at. So I will be back after these videos.
Convinced that under late stage capitalism, having a job or career is more of a status symbol than a means of making money. I feel like the economy has gotten so bad that having a job serves no other purpose than to show people you interact with that you are a productive member of society. Up until last year, I was working as a medical assistant, and I absolutely hated it. Not because of the patients, but because of how disorganized the company I was working for was. And it was then I realized that the thing attaching me to this job was the reaction I got socially when I told people what I did. I didn't have to worry about them thinking I was a bum. I didn't have to worry about them calling me lazy, even though I was fucking miserable. On top of that, I was still living paycheck to paycheck, so the money wasn't even worth it. Well, it wasn't until I quit that it dawned on me that the same people putting me down for being unemployed desperately need those jobs to validate their existence. People fear being called lazy because lazy under capitalism translates to useless. You're not useless.
The greed of capitalism is ruining everything. Everything we buy, shitty. Every experience we pay for, awful. All because 10 guys at the top of every company want to buy their 6th vacation home. Can't buy decent clothes, they're all made of literal plastic. Can't go to a concert, we have to make sure the CEO of Ticketmaster's great-great-great-grandchild never has to work a day in his life. If you can afford to go on vacation, you have to bookend it with the 2 most miserable days of your entire life, sitting like this on an airplane for 3, 4, 10 hours after you paid $1,000. Can't buy a single item of food that isn't going to give you cancer one day. Can't afford to put your kid in daycare. Can't afford to stay home. Cannot do a Google search without trusting that what it gives you is not just something someone paid to put in front of you. I know capitalism is not new, but it feels new. The speed at which everything we do, every interaction we have, every experience we have, everything we buy is being made so incredibly worse just for everyone because of greedy people at the top.
I'm convinced that the world is slowly running out of empathy because I just saw a post about people who are living in Toronto, Vancouver, Sydney, and they are struggling because rent is so freaking high. It's so expensive to live there. And the comments, jeez. There was a comment that was like, if this is your only issue with your life, you are so privileged. And I was like, did you not read the post? They are literally struggling to make rent. They may not have a roof over their head. There was also another comment that was like, just leave then. Nobody wants you. Why are they so angry? I mean, well, to be fair, I do kind of get it because the world is a horrible place. Capitalism fucking sucks. Human rights, unfortunately, are not a thing everywhere. So it's not like I don't get it, but hating on the people struggling to make rent in expensive cities is kind of weird.
The problem is capitalism. The problem is the exploitation of the working class. The problem is that the system has been set up so that you can work and work and work for hours and days and weeks and months and years on end and not see any gain or any benefit from it. Your work doesn't benefit you, it benefits the people that you're working for. The problem is that the people in power and the people who make the laws are having their pockets filled by companies and corporations so that they do exactly as they're told. The problem is that we live in a sociopathic economic system where some people are deemed more valuable than others, and if you don't have any economic value, then you deserve nothing. You don't get health care, you don't get housing, you don't get your basic human rights respected or protected. All you get is exploited for all the money that they can get out of you, and then you die. We need to dismantle the system that treats us like we're only valuable if we can help make rich people richer while we ourselves are struggling to even survive. This is a system that is trying to take away our human rights. It is our duty to overthrow the system and replace it with one that values human life over profit. It is our duty to get rid of the people that allowed this system to continue.
Capitalism is the root of all evil. That's what I said to someone, and they got so fucking mad because they're a business owner and they're a capitalist and they love capitalism. And I'm also a business owner, but fuck capitalism, right? Because the system that we live in now, it is tremendously harmful for our psyche because as humans, we are not supposed to be living our lives like this, and we are outside of our natural flow as human beings, as fucking animals because of capitalism. And also, I just wanted to bring up this point. When you say that you don't fuck with capitalism, people just assume that you don't want to work. People just assume that like we would not have a functioning society without capitalism. And then I want to like ask, like, are you on something? Because like we live in a society where everyone's gonna have to work. I mean, not everyone. Obviously not disabled individuals that can't work. But most people are going to have to work. But it's about working where you are getting paid a livable wage for your work. That you're not getting exploited for your work. Why do you think when people criticize capitalism, it's always where you guys just don't want to work? And it's not that we don't want to work. We just don't want to be exploited. We just don't want to work for the rest of our fucking lives, dude. You're telling me I was born here, didn't ask to be here, and now I have to work for the rest of my life? Absolutely fucking not. I'm not doing that. So, yes, I will always criticize capitalism because it fucking sucks and it's not natural for us to be engaging in it. It's not natural for us as humans.
I know for a fact this probably will not get seen by anybody, but I've seen so many videos talking about it and I can't help but relate because like I'm tired of working 55-ish hours a week and not being able to afford anything. Like I am a month and a half behind on my rent and my landlord keeps texting me, and it's valid because I'm a month and a half behind, but at the same time I'm always thinking to myself, I gotta prioritize like food or gas to get to and from work, and everything costs so fucking much and it's just so fucking difficult. It's so exhausting. Like always having to choose between your necessities. Like, oh, am I gonna pay my electric bill or am I gonna pay my gas bill? Am I going to buy groceries enough to sustain me? Or am I gonna like pay my rent on time for once? And I've just been so far behind for so long. It's so exhausting and it's so dehumanizing. Like getting those texts, getting those messages from my landlord, and even before I lived at the place I'm living at now, getting them from my like apartment complex. It's just so exhausting. And it just, you feel subhuman. And at some level, I feel bad that I'm not able to. Like, I feel like I'm a bad person because I can't pay certain things on time or in whole, sorry. It's just so exhausting. Like, right now, I'm dealing with the fact that I had my whole rent in money order form. But then we we meaning me and my girl, we needed to get gas, groceries, and like a essential bill, like phone bill, paid, and it took up a good chunk of it. It took up $275 of it, and I don't know what I'm going to tell him, because that's January rent that I had to pull from. It's just, and like, I'm not even thinking about February, March. I'm like, because I'm so far behind all the time, and it's so exhausting.
I know we've already been talking about this for a long time, but like working really just feels so fucking unnatural. Like for 40 hours a week, someone else is telling you that you can't sleep, can't eat, you have to ask to go to the bathroom, or like let someone know that you're going to the bathroom, and like you're just living under all these rules for 40 hours a week. That's crazy. That's the whole week. And you think like, oh, you have 8 hours on, like 12 hours off. No, you don't. You come home at 5:30. If you want to go to the gym, you get home around like 7:30 if it's a quick workout. If you really fucking push it, it's like 8. Then you got to cook dinner. Then you got to clean up from working. And then you go to bed and wake up at what? 7, 6, so that you can go back to work for 8 hours a day and then have 2, maybe 3 hours to yourself afterwards. And I realize this is a conversation we've been having, but can we keep having it? Because like until something changes, this is fucked up. This is actually fucked up.
Years now that I think the reason why it's so unpleasant and uncomfortable to shop in store these days is because it was created to be that way. It is by design. It is on purpose. These corporations and retailers are creating unpleasant and uncomfortable shopping experiences for us in store in order to push us to shop online. It is cheaper for them and more profitable for them to have a warehouse full of goods with staff to manage it and deliver those goods. And it is more expensive and less profitable for them to have a brick and mortar store with all of the costs that come with it. But recently I've been thinking it might be more to it than that. So we all know that the subscription-based model is taking over every fucking thing. Pretty soon we will all have to download an app and subscribe to almost every aspect of our lives. So how hard is it to imagine that soon we will all be downloading an app and subscribing in order to shop at our local grocery store? I mean, Walmart's doing it already. They have that $12.99 a month app. And I don't remember what the benefits of that app are. So anybody who's familiar, please feel free to explain in the comments. But how hard is it to imagine that pretty soon we will all be paying a monthly fee according to how much we buy and how often we go to the grocery store? With the potential Kroger and Albertsons merger, it would make it that much easier for consumers to have to fall in line. I haven't even started on drugstores. And maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it won't happen like this, but honestly, I don't think I'm wrong, and I think it will happen like this, and I think it will happen sooner rather than later. Between the majority of everything being online and almost every aspect of our lives being sold back to us in subscription form, we are becoming more and more isolated and more disconnected from each other. But it's progress, it's convenience, and I guess that makes
the way we live right now is basically modern day slavery if you really look at it. Well, yeah, but you can get out of it, so is it really? Can you say that again? Okay, it is, but you can get out of it, so it's really your choice. Oh, so you're saying everyone's choosing to be exploited and poor. Okay. Well, when you put it like that, it sounds bad, but everyone knows you're either the employee or the boss, and if you're at the bottom, you're probably just lazy. Oh, so because there's a way out, it's okay that it exists. Alright. That doesn't make any sense at all.
Them motherfuckers can't understand why we can't afford to buy homes. These are 2 shotgun houses. They're shotgun houses, and the price is starting as... What the fuck is that? These are Yo. And they say we can't afford homes. Yeah, no shit. Look at these fucking... What the fuck?
Hate capitalism, and especially at this stage of capitalism where we're at, where we're seeing, prices hiking, record profits. We're seeing shrinkflation, giving you less product for the same price. There's the full-on greedflation with the price gouging. Another way that they cut costs to increase their profits is, of course, cutting down people. People cost money, so the self-checkouts, the automations, All of these things are done to cut their costs and get more profits for shareholders. That is all that matters to them. There's another kind of late stage capitalism piece that's a little more behind the scenes and it's not so apparent, but it is happening. And I think it's one of the biggest dangers that we face, and that is the cutting of safety protocols. When a company is faced with not as good numbers as they would like to be showing to their shareholders to show how good they're doing, they find places to cut. And I've already just mentioned many of those places. Obviously, we've done away with all the employee perks and the parties and all that. Those have been cut for a few years now. But now we're also cutting safety protocols, the training that employees need, the extra inspections, the internal safety controls, all of these things that are typically done. It costs money to pay people or firms to do these safety measures. Those get cut because they don't want to pay for them. And the consequence of that isn't as obvious. Where that matters is train derailments. We've seen those. Overloading things. We'll start to see more recalls of products because there wasn't the proper testing done or spot checking. So we're going to get recalls because there's contamination, and all those type of things are happening because companies are trying to save money on safety protocols. And I do think that there has been a government effort to kind of cut that red tape so that corporations don't have to do a certain level of safety protocols, because that just is for, the populations, and everyone just cares about those shareholders getting more profit. If that means they have to cut safety measures in order to put more money in the shareholders' pockets, that is an easy decision for them. But there could be very massive repercussions for the rest of us and the planet, right? Pollution and oil leaks and all these things happen when there aren't proper safety protocols, or maybe they're supposed to replace certain things on a certain schedule and they push it out because it costs money, and they say, oh, we can just put that off, and then that thing fails, and then there's a huge environmental disaster, and all they have to do is pay a penalty, probably like less than what they would have had to implement the thing anyway, which helps their decision. That's something that I don't hear talked about enough, and I think it needs, people who are working in these corporations need to be whistleblowing and start being loud about the measures that are being cut. It's something I think about. Another thing that keeps me up at night, and I like to pass my worries on to everyone else, of course. So just something to think about. What are your thoughts on that? And yeah, tell me other ways that you think that companies are cutting costs.
So yeah, there you have it. The people are speaking out, and excuse me if y'all hear that sound. I'm in my car on the way to work now, so that's my turning signal. Yeah, the people are speaking, and there's a lot of things that people are doing, especially women, to stop capitalism and patriotism and just some even racism. And the list of things they're doing are they're being minimalist. They're not buying as much as they used to buy. People are starting to grow their own food. Some people are making their own clothes, because women are so multifaceted and talented that we can do these things. Like, you can make beautiful clothes. Most of these clothes are made by women anyway. Also, people are moving to different countries. Women around the world are not birthing kids because they see what's going on. They see that the patriarchy only wants women worldwide to birth people into the world, to add to the labor force, to work for these huge companies, so these men at the top can stay at the top and everybody else just stays at the bottom and has to work until we're older and older and older, or until we die. I've seen it where I've worked. My mom just retired last year, and she had a friend that was about to retire the week after her, and she did her retirement paperwork and everything, and a week later she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and a couple of weeks after that she was dead. As soon as she was trying to retire, I think she was like 65 or 65 or something like that. She was trying to do early retirement. So a lot of people retire early and don't have enough, but they pull some of their retirement, and that's crazy. Like, you retire after working all these years and you only have, like, some people have $1,100, $1,200 to live on for the month after working all these years and that's all you get after they take all these taxes from us the entire time we're here. So there are so many ways that women are trying to combat this. in a big way, and the biggest one is not birthing any children right now. It won't be forever, but I guarantee you, if women stop birthing children for at least 10 years, the world will not go extinct, and we will see a huge drop in capitalism, because they will have to do some things to get it right with women again if they want us to birth anybody. And I don't think women should at all, unless we go back to a more natural way of being, where people can actually legally grow their own food and do what they want without being taxed like crazy. I don't think women should do anything for this system. You know, I'm for women who don't want kids. I have 2 boys. My youngest will be an adult in 5 years. Well, he'll be 18 in 5 years. That's not really an adult for boys, but he'll be 18 in 5 years. And my oldest will be 18 next month, but they're nowhere near ready to get out into this world. That they won't be able to do it with especially the mindset of most boys. They cannot survive in this economy by themselves, let alone with 2 or 3 roommates. So a lot of boys, and I've seen a lot of women who are moving back home with their parents. I may do a video on that next, but yeah, guys, that's all I wanted to talk about this time. And until next time, you guys, or ladies, I'm sorry, get down in the comments and tell me if you're doing anything to combat capitalism. I'm trying to make my own hair products at home. Well, I have been for years. I still have to buy stuff from these stores, but not like the big stores like Target and stuff like that. I go to like little Indian shops, or I order like online from people who sell it personally. So tell me what you're doing in your own little way to combat like capitalism and patriotism. Bye, ladies.